On this episode, I'm joined by a true legend. He was a teammate of mine when I came through at West Ham, and he went on to win 6 Premier League titles, the Champions League. He captained England and is undoubtedly one of the best centre-halves this country has ever produced. Welcome to the podcast, Rio Ferdinand. Ree,
good to see you,
thanks
mate.
for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
With all my guests, I take them back to the very beginning. Like, what was it like growing up in Peckham and being the second most famous person after Derek Trotter to come out of Peckham?
And Desmond's.
Yeah, and the Desmond's as well. What a show that was.
No, you know what? It was always, when I think about and talk about Peckham, it's always with like fond memories.
Yeah.
Always brings a smile to my face. Probably like what you was like when you grew up on like a council estate, full of people. And it's weird, it's one of the most popping WhatsApp groups on my phone is from the boys on my estate still.
Yeah.
Now, do you know what I mean? There's about 6, 7 of us in there, and the memories, it's like memory lane, it's unbelievable, man. So, no, great times.
I mean, I drove past your estate the other day and you've got the blue plaque on the wall. I can't believe it, in Peckham. I remember seeing the blue plaque, thought, who's from Peckham? Surely he's come from Peckham.
Still boy or Rio?
Some poet or something. Rio Ferdinand.
I can't get a parking ticket, can I? It's unbelievable.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I don't know if everyone knows, you did ballet as a kid.
I used to do gymnastics, and I'd done gymnastics in the London Games as a kid, like about 10 years old. And when I was there, I didn't know this, but it's called the Central School of Ballet, one of the biggest ballet schools in London, in Farringdon. They had like people out and about, scouts looking for potentials, and I must have stood out. But when I got asked, I was like, do you know what? Immediately I just went, yeah, I'll do it. Because I just looked at it as like an adventure off of my estate. I'm travelling somewhere else, going to meet new people, new girls maybe, opportunity to interact on that. And then I just thought, let me just see what it's like. I went and I got like a scholarship, 4-year scholarship, yeah. So I went there for like 3.5, 4 years. And by the end, it was like, I was done with it really mentally, but I made a lot of friends, met a lot of new people, done big production things, and was a ridiculous experience. But with hindsight, I look back now, and it's one of the best things I've done. Because for balance.
Football?
Yeah, for football. So like my balance, agility, even for power. If I took you to go and do a ballet lesson, what I was doing there, the next day it'd have been like you've done a pre-season, your first day in pre-season.
The football took off for you, but yours was, QPR I think was the first trials you went to.
Ridiculous feeling, you know, it's like that first feeling was
used
like...
to get the cards, maybe, you know the cards?
With the badge on it.
Yeah.
QPR have just approached us, unbelievable. Like, and you go back to the estate, like, how did you get on? Forget the game, just been told I can come to QPR and have like a 6-week trial type thing. Unreal. Unbelievable.
And do you remember like when you used to play kids football and the scouts, they used to have the coach, you clock it with the long coats?
Yeah. It's mad because, do you know what, as a kid I weren't good with pressure.
Really?
The older I got, so when I got to my like 14, 15 years old, 16, before that you'd see scouts at games and they wouldn't really do anything to me. But the older I got, you saw scouts at the games or you heard that there was an England scout at the game.
Yeah.
I would be like nervous, man, and I probably wouldn't play my best. When I got into West Ham, I was all right, I was fine. And it's weird, I got into England's team, I'm fast forwarding now, but I got to England and played for England in the World Cup, and it happened against Brazil. I got caught up in the air in the moment, and the game froze, and it threw me back to when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
We're talking the full squad,
in the World Cup, 2002 World Cup against Brazil. It's just like I just froze in the warm up before the game, and in the lineup when the national anthems were going on. I'm playing Brazil, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, Cafu, Roberto Carlos. Family in the stands, can hear my mum shouting. Like, just the emotion of it all just took over me, and I just froze, and it just took me back to when I was a kid on trials with England and things like that. I thought, no way this is ever happening again. Didn't happen again in my career, never froze again. But as a kid, I found it really hard.
So I know you was courted by all the clubs in London. Why West Ham?
It was like a day came, and it was like, you got to sign on this day. And I had like Chelsea, Middlesbrough, Norwich, Millwall, Charlton, West Ham, QPR, etc. And I almost said yes to go in Middlesbrough. Lenny Lawrence was the manager.
Yeah.
He knew my district manager, a guy called Dave Goodwin, great guy.
I remember Dave. He was my manager of London.
Yeah. In a London manager, unbelievable football brain. And I loved the adventure going up there. I loved staying up there when I was there. It was different. Then it was like, well, maybe stay nearer to Rome at Millwall. Like, it's around the corner.
Yeah.
And then West Ham, I spoke to, remember Jimmy Neighbour and Jimmy Hansen?
Yeah.
They were the youth development officers, they shared the role. And one of the things that they said to me at the time was, we want young kids in our first team.
Yeah.
We ain't going to buy players. We want your crop, and then underneath that, well, the year above was Frank and Lee Hodges and them,
Yeah.
and then everything underneath with yourself coming through as well. We want them in the first team. So that was the biggest sell that I took on, and I thought, I want to be in the first team.
Yeah.
So I thought, I can see a path here. So I thought, this has got to be the place, man. And I signed.
What was it like when you made your debut? Trying to describe that moment. Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, it was like the stuff of dreams. Because you got to remember, like, on that journey, that you sign YTS, which is now Scholar, where you go in full time after school. And before that season started, I played in the Southern Junior Floodlit Cup final against Chelsea. And I was like 2-3 years younger than all the other players. I was still at school. They were all like 17, 18 years old. And I played really well. And that was the moment in my life. I don't know if you've got this. That was the moment in my young career when it was starting where I thought, I think I'll definitely make it now. Don't know what level, but I am going to make it at some level because of that. I've played against players that have played in the first team at Chelsea, played in the first team at West Ham, and I feel I'm better than all of them. And then you sign on and you go in full time. I just remember being absolutely knackered every day. The first 2-3 months, you're doing your pre-season, coming home, just sleeping, 2-hour block, bang. Youth team trained next to the reserves and the first team.
Yeah.
So what I loved is that, and how I got my chance, the first time someone got injured and they just called someone over. Right, we need a centre-half or we need a defender or give us 2 players, don't matter who you... And I was called over, I couldn't believe it. So nervous, man. And then you've got monks and people like that who are big mouths and who, they're heartless. If your first pass ain't on blob...
They're on you.
Get him back over there, send him back. It's mad, it's like character building at its best.
I remember when same thing with me. I used to get called over, but whoever got injured or needed a rest, then they'd say, "Oh, we need a left back," and they'd call over to Tony and it'd be righty or yourself. Get the boy Wonder over, get the kid over, and then I'd come over and righty go to me. Listen, he say, go get on Monks and try and meg him or something, and then and I'd try and do something, flick it over someone's head, and he'd laugh. That gate got me from there to there because the lads wanted me there because I would do something.
I'd wait around and watch you play games.
Yeah.
Because I'd heard so much and I'd seen a bit here and there. I used to wait just to watch your games. It's mad. And even do you remember the first time you trained with us? Well, one of the first times you played a free touch game and you must have banged in 3 or 4 goals. And everyone's going, he's still doing skills on free touches.
Yeah,
what's going on? It was mad.
I've got a lot to thank you because you and Frank were the trailblazers, and I come in and it was a lot more comfortable. But you and Frank were coming in, and it was like Julian Dix, Alvin Martin, a lot more old school players.
I saw it a lot where people felt threatened of young players. So you saw resistance and you saw a bit of not hate, but you saw a little bit of devilment would go on. And Frank had it.
Yeah, I know.
That's why Frank's the way he is now, and he became really hard-nosed and hardened. And you remember Frank went to private school, so he went from background like we're from, so you wouldn't actually initially think that he's going to be hardened like the way he became. But he had to be because he had older pros that would make snide remarks, maybe would leave a bit on him in training. He would hear within earshot he's only over it because of his old man and Harry's his uncle. Do you know what I mean? He ain't good enough, blah blah.
Yeah.
And
I remember it.
Yeah, Frank would hear a lot of that. So I was lucky, man. I didn't get that. I got welcomed with open arms by the players.
We had a great time. We had a great team. But you know, at that time, and rightly so, the club weren't. You sort of not outgrew the club, but your ambitions outgrew the club. I remember the day when Leeds come in for you, and Leeds would. It's hard for people listening to this now. Leeds at the time were they were like the team to go to, weren't they? Trying all the best young British talent. How was that? How did that come about? And
do you know what? I didn't want to leave West Ham. I didn't. Right. But for two summers, I'd gone to Terry Brown, who was the owner, and I'd gone to him and said to him, "We're going to buy anyone." Because I knew what was under the bonnet. I knew that it was me, Frank, you, Carrick, Defoe, Anton, Glenn Johnson, all these players coming through. But we've got Di Canio, Trevor Sinclair, etc. At the club. If you just buy a few to add to this, this is a conversation I had with him. Just buy a few to add to this. We're going to do something. Win an FA Cup or something. And I'd have been happy with that, I swear, at the time. And he was like, "We can't go into the red." And
Yeah,
you've got to
I
respect
know.
that. It's fine. He was like, we're not going to the Red. There's other clubs that are doing it. We ain't doing that. We're not about that. And I was like, OK, cool. That summer I was fine. The next summer I'd done it again. And then, don't forget, I went before transfer windows happened. I went in November. So I went and played Newcastle on the Saturday or Tuesday night or something like that. In Newcastle, Leeds, sorry, on a Wednesday night, I think.
I remember the game.
And we won. Canute squad, unbelievable. And Leeds fans were singing my name in the game.
Right.
It was weird.
Right.
There's rumours they were trying to buy me. They were singing my name. West Ham fans were singing my name. It was just a real moment, really. And then I was out shopping with my dad, and then the phone goes, and it was the chief executive at West Ham said we've accepted a bid of £18 million from Leeds. The moment he said that, I was gone. And funnily, I got there as I was getting to the meeting to go and meet Leeds. Chelsea rang and said, we'll match whatever Leeds are offering. And I said, listen, with all due respect, thank you, but no, I need to leave London. Because I was getting a lot of trouble off the pitch. My mates and that were going out all the time, and I was going to the opening of an envelope, mate. I was anything that was going on, I was there. I wanted to know what's going on. I was like a social butterfly.
I know.
So the best thing for me for my career was to leave and get away and not have them pulls to go into the nightclubs.
I said it's an interesting time in Leeds history because you got to the Champions League semi-final. When did you feel that it was crumbling there a little bit? Was there any moments? Or
not in that season.
No?
Didn't really know. But my agent at the time who I was with, Peony Zahavi, he was like a super agent back then. He was in the know and he knew all the people behind the scenes. He knew what was going on, all the clubs and stuff. So after the season finished, he started talking to me and saying, like, this club's interested. And I was like, listen, I'm quite happy, you know. Yeah, but the club ain't in a good place.
Really?
Like, and then when he said to me that actually the club actually need to sell you. Right. It's not like they want to sell you. They don't really want to sell you, but if they don't sell you, they have to sell 10. So like, and that's why recently I went to a game and the Leeds fans were like the away fans who were the most like punchy fans. They were bang on me like aggressive.
I think we did the game.
Yeah, Aston Villa.
Yeah. And
I was like, it's like 20 odd years ago. And for one, by the way, if you look at the detail, I only left because I had to leave. Really. And it was Man United. And I know it's a rivalry, but I want to go and win. But also, listen, I've actually brought £30 million into your club and helped you, stopped you going like extinct almost.
Yeah.
So that one baffles me. But once I knew United were in for me, it was a no-brainer. As soon as I heard Man United, I had to go.
At the World Cup in Japan, were they courting you then?
I remember
Nicky
being especially.
Yeah, I remember being in a room at some point and then.
You got to come. It's bigger than England. That's what he used to say to me.
Well, ain't asking me.
No, because you know what? 2, 3, 4 years before that, they were like talking. Like, I remember them saying to Sol, "Come on, Sol.
Yeah.
Come to Man United."
Yeah.
And I used to think, right, one day, man, I beg them, man, to be talking to me like that, please. And then all of a sudden, it became like Buddy and that was saying, "You've got to come here. It's big." And we go away with England, and you see all the fanfare. It's nothing compared to what happens at Man United. This is nothing.
Really?
It's baby steps. And I was like, what? It was like, yeah, well, I need to see that. We went to the races, Chester races, and Incy was there. Yeah. And I see him, yes, Incy, what's happening, man? He went, calm down, you've only won one league. Bro, the biggest deflator, just took this, like, punished me. I was on the floor.
Talk to me about the first few weeks at United.
It was the most nervous time ever in my career, walking into that change room in the training ground. Yeah. And then walking out on a training pitch the first time. Yeah. Most nervous I've ever been.
Really?
Because you know they're looking at you going, what does that amount of money bring to the table? Yeah. Need to see it right now. No, I'll give you a breathing space. That's why when you hear about these players now who sign for big clubs for big money today, and we're going, I'll give them a whole year. Yeah. I'm thinking, bruv, I had a training session. A training session to show that I'm worthy, I'm worth it. I'm just seeing other guys getting 18 months and still ain't cooked it, and they're still, no, it's all right, bedding in period. Thinking, wow, these guys are getting some grace.
But winning your first trophy, I know what it meant for me, you know. But
it's up there with the best ones.
Yeah.
Because it's a relief. Yeah, you must have had a sense of relief. More than like happiness, joy, whatever. Relief.
The League Cup, when we beat Liverpool in the final, similar situation. I'm thinking I've won 4 World Cups in one day. I'm bouncing around the place, and there's Mourinho, and who's just won the Champions League, and they're just like,
You got to like press the reset button, innit? Yeah, relax.
I needed at least 2 days.
I got told that. Like I remember, I'll never forget it. I looked up to Paul Ince as a player, and we'd won the league. I don't know what year it was. Might have been my first year.
Was it the first year?
Yeah, and we went to the races, Chester races, and Ince was there. And I see him. Yes, Ince, what's happening, man? He went, calm down. You've only won one league. Bruv, the biggest deflator just took this, like, punished me. I was on the floor.
Yeah.
I walked away. I put my drink down and said, "Bro, calm down, son. Calm down now. Like, reevaluate it. You've got more to do." Like, but you needed them little checks. It was nice.
Yeah.
I saw him recently and told him he was laughing. But that first one, man, it's just like, wow. Bearing in mind, we lost the League Cup to Liverpool that year, 2-0 at Cardiff. And I was thinking, well, I haven't come here and it's going to be a change of fortune for the club and we're now not going to win. So again, that's another, you use things to fuel you a little bit. Like, we can't not win. Like, if we don't win now, they've spent all this money on me and I'm the reason why they're not winning them. So that's everyone's going to look at it. In my head, that's how I was playing it out. To win the first one, wow.
We can't not talk about Alex Ferguson. I know he's a massive influence on you, but in them early years, how did he treat you?
Yeah, you know what he was really good at? He was really good at taking away the pressure. He wanted you to simplify everything. Just play why you're here, because you're good. You're good enough. I ain't bringing you here because you're not good enough. Just play your normal game. It was a surprise, really, because I was expecting to have to take in a lot of information, because I associated that with winning. It must be. That's the reason why they're winning. They must have more information, more data and everything. But it wasn't. It was even more simple. And you're playing with better players. And he demanded standards every day. Just his presence on a training pitch has got to be a high standard. The players drove that as well, but he's standing there, giving no input to the training session, but just standing there.
He must know, I'm bringing a player into Manchester United, it's like you said, it's a massive step for any player.
Yeah.
And then to come in and then to throw more fuel on the fire effectively and give him more information. No, just, you're here for a reason, good enough. Less is more.
Yeah, 100, that's the perfect saying. But you know what, as well, what I'll give him credit for, the due diligence was done. He'd find out about your character, he'd talk to people that are close to you, he'd talk about the previous clubs that you've been at, how you adapted, what's your attitude like, what's he like, is he married, you got kids? He knew everything. And that detail that he used to go into, he'd know my granddad's favourite drink. Yeah, know my granddad's favourite drink. Bought him a drink when my granddad was in the players' lounge. My granddad couldn't believe it, he fell off his chair. Sir Alex Ferguson's ordered me a drink, or sent a drink over. Can't believe it. My granddad's in hospital, flowers turn up. My mum's in hospital, flowers turn up. Like mad stuff where you go, that's when people talk about the goal in the last minutes and like Fergie time.
Yeah.
They ain't the reason, but they must have play a little part.
Of course. At this time, 2006, I went to Chelsea in 2003 and we started that great rivalry. The guys have great, they take great pride in getting guests on, so I have to talk about the 2008 Champions League final again.
But you beat us in finals. Drogba scored in the FA Cup final, killed us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's twos and throws, isn't it?
I had Scholesy on and we talked about it, and I think that 2008 Man United team's, that's the best team I've played in the Premier League. But that game, it was a horrible game from my perspective, playing against your rivals. Scholesy said something I thought was quite interesting. He said, the teams were evenly matched. We had great players. He said he went into the game thinking, we can't lose because we've got Alex Ferguson. And in all due respect, we've got Avram.
Yeah, I didn't look at it like that. It's a good way of looking. If you look at it like that, I can see that. What you done is you made us have to rethink and go up a level. Because before that, we could chill till Christmas and not be really focused, not even look at or think about the league table. But think, if we turn the year within 8 or 10 points, we could smoke it still. But with you boys, Mourinho came and built a team that you used to come out the blocks, man. If we weren't within touching distance at Christmas, it was game over. For 2 years that happened. You swept it. And I remember the manager before the third season when we won it back, and the manager saying, you have to start well. Because we didn't think about it the second year when you won the second one. The manager said, well, there ain't no starting slow and think you're going to get back in it. It's changed now. Mourinho's brought a different animal to the table. The mad thing is, we won the Premier League, twice after that, but got beat in the final against Barcelona twice. So your summer was that devastated summer. But you've won the league. Yeah,
but that's the standards you set.
Yeah, so it's mad. So I got to enjoy that one. It was the best.
I mean, listen, when you went to Leeds, you went up a level. Then you went up to Man United, and then I started playing with you for England again. And there was an aggression in your play that I thought, because we were pals, we'd go out, and you was never like that at West Ham. And I remember I lost the ball at the World Cup, and you run 30 yards to scream at me, right? And I'm thinking, is he sure?
Once you get that taste, like you get that taste for winning, you can't let that go, man. So it almost becomes like an obsession, and like, if I feel something's going on the pitch that needs to be said that it's going to make sure we're going to get over the line, then I was always quite comfortable doing that. And nothing was ever personal with me. I could shout and ball at someone on the pitch, and the minute I come off it, it'd be fine. Like, how you doing? What's happening with it? But that's what I miss in the game today. I don't see the rivalries. Forget the clubs, the players. You know, I don't see that bit of, like, a nastiness or an aggression that I love to see. I miss that. Because it creates them little subplots, doesn't it? Them little stories that you go into a game. I can't wait till they come up against each other. I don't really feel that now.
No. England beat 81 times for your career. You played for England, you captained your country. That must have been a dream come true. We talked on many occasions about us underperforming. I think people, it's harsh though, because we did underperform, but also you need that little bit of something, that little bit of luck. And we never really got it, did we?
Yeah, but I still think you've got to make your own luck as well. I just feel that we were, in the end, we weren't good enough, that's first and foremost. But I feel that if we were set up differently, shape-wise, we would have given ourselves a better chance. We had some of the best players in the world. We had players, probably had a handful of players that would probably walk into every other team.
Yeah, for sure.
But the depth of our squad wasn't great if you look at it properly. We didn't have the depth of other squads, maybe, right? But I don't know, man. We just didn't have that. I don't know what it was. We played so rigid, man, and it was hard because we were getting pumped by our teams and popped off the pitch by like teams like Albania and Belarus.
Tactically, we weren't.
Yeah, we were getting like overloaded in midfield by all these like the minnows. Like, did you ever have an easy game for England? It always felt hard.
Always, yeah.
And I just think we've got all these great players, but we look average.
I know.
It's mad.
It shouldn't have been like that. But listen, it's great now that, you know, we've come a long way. The coaching's got better tactically. I think the lads are more astute. The game's
if these guys don't win something, man, it's going to be because the talent we've got.
If they don't win it, we're cursed. We're cursed. It will never happen. With every guest, we do a quick fire questions. Who was the best player you ever played against?
Ronaldo, the Brazilian one, and Messi.
Two great players. If you could go back and relive one moment of your career, what would it be? Not a game, a moment.
The feeling I got when Leeds beat Arsenal at Highbury, that emotion that I had then, that was amazing. But also Moscow, when the penalty was saved. If you could bottle that feeling there, like everything, every emotion you can think, joy, everything. I just think that the directors and the producers, have you got anyone else from Moscow you want me to interview? Do you know what I mean? Dig me out. All right, OK. All right, OK. Sorry, man.
If you could have played alongside any centre-back to ever play the game, who would you pick to be your partner?
I would have played with Yapstam.
Really?
Yeah, I think if I was going to say the player that I'd have had a great relationship with, and it would have been an unbelievable partnership, Yapstam.
Oh, Matt. A prime Yapstam and a prime Rio Ferdinand, I don't think you would have conceded more than 10 goals in the season. It would have been unbelievable. Ree, it's been a pleasure.
Lovely to see you, man.
Thanks very much.
Take care. Thank you.
BT Sport Pods.